Welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 71, Half Step to Heaven. Fighting the Blood Robe Man. Okay, then you still owe me one. Do me a favor and take Su Mei away and keep her safe, then I'll take it as compensation. You noticed that Liu Ruyue was a little strange and seemed unwilling to step into the 10,000 mountains, so you agreed. Sure. Liu Ruyue nodded and agreed without hesitation. Su Mei possesses the strange curse pupil, one of the 10 divine pupils, but she also has a strong talent as an alchemist. For any major force, she is a treasure. Naturally, she would not refuse such a big treasure. With the guarantee of Liu Ruyue, a fifth-turn celestial being, Su Mei's safety is naturally beyond doubt. Brother Liu, Mayor doesn't want to be separated from you. The 18-year-old Su Mei burst into tears and hugged you tightly. Looking at Su Mei, who was reluctant to leave, you could only persuade her and whisper to her, handing her all of Ghost Dr. Venerable's alchemist heritage, and said that when you see her again in the future, she will be able to become a powerful alchemist. Here, you actually have some tricks up your sleeve. Alchemists are noble and are the object of contention among various forces. Su Mei, who has the talent of an alchemist, may be valued by the forces behind Liu Ruyue and be won over. Although Su Mei is not an orthodox alchemist, but a poison pill master, for those big forces, it would be better and more scarce. In the future, if there is a chance to meet again, you may be able to learn from Su Mei the true identity of Liu Ruyue and the power behind him. Of course, the premise of all this is that you can survive. But before, Liu Ruyue said that he could survive in Xiwandishan. You and Su Mei agreed to let her leave with Liu Ruyue, and when she has cultivated successfully and is able to protect brother Liu, she will come to the Xiwandishan mountains to find him. Su Mei nodded and believed it. Okay, let's make a promise and not lie to each other. Quote. Okay, pinky promise. Seeing the two of you being so affectionate and flirting with each other without anyone else around, completely ignoring her, Liu Ruyue, who was watching from the side, got angry again and clenched his fists tightly. Ahem, has someone forgotten something? Liu Ruyue suddenly coughed a few times, ruthlessly interrupting your atmosphere and hinting something to you. Mayor, wait for me here. I'm going to talk to your sister Liu about something. You thought to yourself that Liu Ruyue really couldn't hold back any longer, so you lied to Su Mei. Yeah. Su Mei nodded obediently and watched you and Liu Ruyue leave and go in a certain direction to discuss something. A few hours later, you reappeared after having discussed the matter. You have more wounds on your body, and your clothes are torn, as if you were beaten. On the other hand, Liu Ruyue is like a proud peacock, in a very good mood. Su Mei, who was blind, didn't seem to notice anything, but her fist seemed to be clenched for a moment. Liu Ruyue took Su Mei away, and before leaving, he said that he would take good care of her for your sake. Perhaps because she was in a good mood and had clear thoughts, Liu Ruyue quietly handed you a talisman sword, saying that it contained her full-strength attack and could save your life at a critical moment. You accepted it. You watched the two girls leave in a friendly manner, like sisters. You know very well that after Liu Ruyue leaves, you will be in danger, and the mysterious pursuers hiding in the dark will no longer hide. Swish. Without hesitation, you turned and rushed into the 100,000 mountains. A fourth-level, Earth Escape Talisman, was attached to your body, and you escaped into the ground, while silently saying, "You can't see me," in your heart, hiding your body. You have been moving quickly underground for a long time, and suddenly you feel an inexplicable chill. Your pupils shrink immediately, and you quickly escape from the ground. Boom! The ground within a radius of nearly 100 miles suddenly shook violently, like a dragon rolling, the earth surging, and huge trees collapsing. This was almost an indiscriminate and horrific earthquake. If you were a step slower and were still on the ground, you would have been crushed into pulp in an instant. You realize that this is most likely a mysterious being chasing you and targeting you. Hey, I didn't expect you to be able to react. A slightly surprised voice suddenly appeared, with an inexplicable familiarity. Your pupils shrank, and you suddenly felt a surge of excitement and trembling in your blood. You recognized that voice as the one who had simulated the third time before, and who had wiped out the Liu family's rebels and came to the mysterious secret realm to kill you. That was the third simulation of myself. I would rather die than forget it. The B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$e$ to you from the long river of time. You looked over suddenly, and what came into view was a man in a blood-stained robe wearing a Shira mask. You never expected that the one chasing you was the other party. Question mark quote. It's you, UB asterisk 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 D. How is it possible that you know me? The man in the blood-robed robe wearing the Shira mask was stunned. He seemed a little surprised and paused for a moment. Question mark quote. Ghost talk, green, has taken effect. I'm your wild father, how could I not know you? I'll go back and ask you. Dad. You. Fart. The expression of the blood-robed man behind the Shira mask suddenly became interesting. He was confused and shocked for a moment, but he reacted quickly and exploded instantly. But when he reacted, he saw that you did not run away as he had imagined, but instead rushed towards him desperately, and were already very close. Question mark. What is even more shocking is your next move. Question mark. Tread. The sixth realm is extraordinary. Question mark. Tread. The seventh realm of sainthood. You take 2 steps in succession and instantly become a saint. The half of the heavenly talisman in his mind was shrouded in anger, shining brightly, and forcibly burning 100 years of his life. Question mark. Take another half step. Question mark. Boom. Question mark. Half a step to heaven. A heavenly realm aura begins to condense on you. Question mark quote. 9 dragons burning the sky. Question mark. Roar. 9 fire dragons instantly emerged from behind him and condensed into a giant dragon hundreds of feet long. You don't know when a Xuanian treasure mirror appeared in your hand, and at the same time, it burst out with a terrifying cold light, transforming into a giant ice dragon, which intertwined with the giant fire dragon and attacked the blood-robed man in front of you. Question mark quote. Half step to heaven. How is this possible? The blood-robed man's pupils shrank, frightened by your sudden outburst. Since Yi Chen did not obtain the 9 steps to heaven, this was the first time you used it in this simulation, and it almost caught him off guard. Question mark. Swish. You suddenly have a second Xuanian treasure mirror in your hand, and a beam of Xuanian divine light bursts out and falls on the blood-robed man, freezing him instantly. Boom. The interlaced ice and fire dragons slowly crashed into the blood-robed man and instantly devoured him. Question mark quote. Ah. At this moment, you have almost thrown out all your cards, without reservation, and just want to kill this B asterisk 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 D. Chapter 72, Heavenly Sword Cultivator. One sword scare away the blood-robed man. The fight has begun. In the distance, Liu Ruyue, who was leaving with Su Mei, suddenly looked in your direction with a hint of surprise on his face. She could sense that, at this moment, you did not use her talisman sword, but the fighting power you burst out was almost no less than that of a real celestial being. With such a terrifying power, even the ghost Dr. Venerable would have to surrender his life when facing you. There is no possibility of survival at all. Brother Liu, I want to go find Brother Liu. Su Mei suddenly struggled, trying to break free and go over to help you, but was ruthlessly knocked unconscious by Liu Ruyue. With your half-baked curse eye, you can only deal with ordinary celestial beings. It's wishful thinking to want to deal with that person. You will only cause trouble if you go. That kid is more powerful than you think. With my talisman sword, he won't die for a while. Once he enters the mountain, someone will naturally protect him. ... Boom. You have given it your all, but ask yourself, even an ordinary celestial being would be killed instantly, and there is no possibility of survival. Question mark. But the next scene was beyond your expectations. Question mark. Boom. The giant ice and fire dragon was suddenly torn into pieces by a beam of blood, turning into countless ice slags and flames that scattered everywhere. The blood-stained robed man wearing the Shira mask reappears in front of you. He is wrapped in a blood-stained robe, and except for a little dust, he has no injuries at all. I underestimated you. No wonder that useless ghost doctor died so quietly. No wonder that woman protected you all the way. Your pupils shrink. You didn't expect that even after giving it your all, you couldn't hurt it at all. You are absolutely no match for it. You have to retreat strategically. With your skills, anyone else would be in big trouble. Suddenly, the voice of the man in the blood-stained robe appeared behind you. Question mark. Not good. You instantly enter the supreme mode, your mind breaks through the limits of mortals, your body seems to be twisted, and you use a Kangmang tyrant dragon fist, covered with countless cold air, to collide head-on with a huge blood palm. Question mark. Puff. Your right arm twisted instantly, as if it was blown away like a cannonball, and sunk deeply into the ground. A Xuanian treasure mirror was forcibly taken away by the blood-robed man. Huh, you were able to detect my blood escape technique in advance and launch a counterattack. What a decisive battle awareness. The blood-robed man was a little surprised. Originally, he intended to break your spine with that palm strike just now, but he didn't expect that you would use the Xuanian treasure mirror to increase the power of your punch, confront him head-on, and block the fatal blow. But when he looked down, he found that you had suddenly disappeared again. Again, that method of suddenly disappearing. Ha ha. The blood-robed man sneered, as if he had seen through the flaws, and instantly deployed his own blood field to cover all directions. Countless blood rain appeared out of nowhere and turned into blood thorns, shooting out and attacking indiscriminately. In terms of combat awareness, the blood-robed man is more than 10 or even 100 times stronger than the ghost doctor. Puff. You are in the "you can't see me" state, your face changes slightly, and you can only activate the last Xuanian treasure mirror to condense a huge ice wall to block the attack. I found you. Boom. The ice wall shatters, a beam of blood enters, and a right arm covered in blood armor instantly pierces your chest, grabbing your Supreme Emperor bone, and almost dragging it out forcefully. In just a few breaths, you are already in a desperate situation. The face of the blood-robed man under the Shira mask is full of ferocity, and a pair of evil blood-red eyes look at you, wanting to see your desperate and painful expression. Little b********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* next moment, his ferocious bloodshot eyes froze. Because there is no pain and despair in your eyes as I imagined, there is only absolute calmness and a hint of irony of a conspiracy that has succeeded. Snap. You ignored the big hole in your chest and the Supreme Emperor bone that was being grasped, and a chill suddenly spread over your body, freezing the blood-robed man's arms. An talisman sword appeared in his right hand, pointing at him. You brazenly detonated the talisman sword given by Liu Ruyue. Sword. Come. ? Boom. A sword light suddenly burst out, and a hazy figure could be vaguely seen appearing. She swung the sword with a terrifying chill that could destroy all things, and slashed towards the blood-robed man who was close at hand. Heaven. Man. Sword. Cultivation. A terrified howl emanated from the blood-robed man. Sword cultivators are terrifying beings known for their lethality, and celestial sword cultivators are said to be invincible at their level. With such a close range of heavenly sword, even if he was in his prime, he wouldn't dare to confront it head-on, let alone dodge it. He finally understood that from the beginning to the end, you had been preparing to exchange your life for his. Tear. The terrifying icy sword energy instantly cut off the blood-robed man's right arm, along with half of his neck. Countless blood spurted out, and the sword energy gnashed into the wound like a bone-biting force. Although this sudden heavy blow caused the blood-robed man to feel pain, it also aroused his ferocity. He is confident that even if he is half disabled, he is sure to kill you. You point the powerless, talisman sword in your hand at the opponent again, as if you want to continue to inspire it. Sword. ? Ah. The blood-robed man was frightened half to death, groaning and screaming in pain, and decisively threw away his broken right arm, turning into a bloody light and escaping into the distance without the slightest hesitation. Before leaving, he still shouted, "Little b**************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Question mark. Boom. You hold the broken right arm of the blood-robed man in your hand, as well as the powerless talisman sword. There is a big hole in your chest. You are almost on the verge of death, half kneeling on the ground, gasping for breath, with countless blood flowing out. The power of the 9 steps to heaven began to weaken, and his realm began to plummet wildly. Soon, he went from a half-step celestial being to a mountain and river realm. You won this duel, but it was at the cost of nearly dying. With the help of the power of the talisman sword, he cut off the opponent's arm, and used the powerless talisman sword to scare him away. It is not an exaggeration to say that it was a narrow victory. This battle can almost be said to be the most difficult battle you have ever fought in your life. Even after using all your trump cards, you were unable to hurt the opponent. In the end, you had to rely on external forces and luck. I didn't expect this B***************** D to be so strong. If it weren't for the talisman sword given by Liu Ruyue, I'm afraid I would have failed in this villain simulation. Liu Gan's eyes flashed fiercely, and he watched the scenes happening in the villain simulator intently, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 73, Breaking Through 3 Barriers in a Row, The Dragon in the River. The true strength of the blood-robed man had obviously far exceeded Liu Gan's expectations. He had already prepared himself for this simulated killing and ending it early. Unexpectedly, the villain simulator's self was able to use a trick and eventually defeat the opponent and scare him away. The true combat power of that blood-robed man must be at least a 5th-level celestial being, or even higher. His blood-colored cloak is also an extremely strong defensive, celestial being magic weapon that almost blocked all my attacks. No wonder the blood-robed man claimed in the 3rd simulation that he could kill all the Liu family rebels. His strength is indeed terrifying. Before, Liu Ruyue once said that the blood-robed man's fighting ability was not inferior to hers, but now it seems that she was too modest. The heavenly sword cultivator almost crippled the opponent with one strike of the sword. If he had struck a few more strikes, the blood-robed man would have been dead for sure. This villain simulation not only made Liu Gan meet the blood-robed man, who had previously destroyed the Liu family. He even discovered Liu Ruyue's real occupation and extraordinary combat power in advance. A celestial sword cultivator. One sword strikes. All laws are broken. He looked strangely at the school beauty who was sleeping soundly beside him, hugging the quilt, curled up into a ball, and twisting from time to time, trying to squeeze him down. Just looking at this dead look, who could tell that he was a celestial swordsman? This is seriously underestimating the other party. As long as Liu Ruyue is there, most of the dangers directed at him can be blocked in a short period of time. The ghost doctor sent by the mastermind behind the scenes and the blood-robed man were only a matter of 1 or 2 swords in front of her. But what kind of terrifying existence is hidden in the 100,000 mountains, that even such a powerful person is so afraid of and unwilling to set foot on? This battle burned up 300 years of my lifespan, and I lost most of my life. For at least 2 years, I won't be able to make any progress, and I need to repay the loan from heaven and earth. I have to go. When that B**************** D reacts, I will be the one to die. You were not carried away by the sudden victory. You knew that you only won by a narrow margin and scared away the blood-robed man. If the other party had reacted, you would have been dead for sure. You used the soul nailing technique on the blood-robed man's broken arm. As long as the other party gets close, you will get an early warning. Then, he took out the healing pill from the space ring and took it, and with the help of the 4th level rejuvenation talisman, a new layer of flesh grew on his chest, covering the wound and temporarily stabilizing the injury, and then he began to run towards the mountains. When you stepped into the Xiwan mountains, you found corpses and bones of humans and strange alien races lying on the ground. At first glance, it looked like a mountain of corpses and a river of bones, which was extremely horrifying. There are many powerful beings among these corpses and skeletons. From some of the bones, you can even sense the breath of the heavenly realm. At this moment, you probably understand why Liu Ruyue is unwilling to set foot in this place. It seems too weird, but you have no choice but to continue. Enter the mountain, pass the checkpoint, worship the temple, enter the river. I have entered the mountain now. Where should I be held? You seem to have lost your 5 senses, unable to tell the direction, and can only run around in all directions, unable to find the next step, and every time you only end up back at the starting point. At this moment, you begin to realize the horror of this 100,000 mountains, and you seriously suspect that this place is covered by a vast and boundless formation. After an unknown amount of time, you gradually begin to lose yourself in it, like a walking corpse, and begin to sink into it. The flesh and blood on your body seem to fall off bit by bit, turning into bones. Boom. Suddenly, a terrifying warmth surged out from the Supreme Emperor bone, and instantly rushed into your mind, waking you up. Quote. This is a cliff. When you wake up, you are startled to find yourself at the foot of a cliff without knowing when. There is a deep abyss below and you have already stepped half a foot out. If the Supreme Emperor Bone had not just revealed its divine power and pulled your consciousness back from the abyss, you would have fallen into the abyss and died. Quote. The gate of hell is passed. A faint voice suddenly came from the abyss. At this time, you finally realized that you have been passing the test since entering the mountain. Boom. The next moment, the space changes, and you find yourself suddenly in front of an open space. There are 3 rugged mountains in front of you, like 3 peaks and 2 blades, which is extremely strange. And under the mountain, there is a temple with green smoke, looming, as if attracting you back. After passing the gates of hell, the next step is to visit the temple. You walk towards the temple gate without hesitation, but surprisingly, this time you entered easily without any obstruction. Inside the temple at the moment is a majestic statue whose face cannot be seen clearly, with a dragon wrapped around its waist, a 3-pointed double-edged sword in hand, and a tall yellow dog sitting under it. Why, looking at this statue, I have an inexplicable sense of familiarity. You murmured to yourself, feeling an inexplicable sense of intimacy. But since it concerns your life, you still start the temple worship ceremony, take 3 incense sticks from the table beside you, light them, and bow respectfully to the statue. Swish. I don't know if it's an illusion, but you suddenly feel as if there is something extra in you. When you look up, you find that the majestic statue has lowered its head, and its blurry face seems to be looking at you. Quote. Worship the temple, pass. The faint voice sounded again. Why do I feel so familiar with the statue in the temple, as if I have seen it somewhere before? Liu Gan frowned slightly and fell into deep thought. At this moment, he actually felt that the statue in the villain simulator seemed like something he had seen somewhere. Seems to be in the imperial capital. While he was thinking, the situation in the villain simulator suddenly changed dramatically. Snap. Just when you were lost in thought, you suddenly noticed unusual movements inside the space ring. The broken arm of the blood-robed man began to tremble, condensing into a blood arrow, pointing directly at you. Oh no, the blood-robed man is chasing us. Your face changes slightly, and you no longer think about the abnormality of the statue. You quickly step out of the temple and look around, looking for the river. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Enter the mountain, pass the customs, worship the temple, enter the river. Now, only the last step is left. Soon, you discovered that behind the temple, there seemed to be a winding river. Little b*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** The teasing voice of the blood-stained robe man came from behind. At some point, his severed arm has actually recovered and is now transformed into a bloody shadow, rushing towards you to kill you. Plop. Without hesitation, you fell off the mountain and jumped into the river. But just as you jumped into the river, you discovered two huge blood-red lanterns floating in the river, appearing in front of you. No, those don't seem to be two blood-red lanterns, they seem to be a pair of eyes. The next moment, you suddenly saw the true face of the object, and your scalp suddenly went numb, and your whole body was cold. It was a huge dragon lurking in the middle of the river, its entire appearance could not be seen, and it exuded a terrifying and oppressive feeling. Chapter 74, Young Master, Here Comes the Old Slave. A dragon from the heavenly realm. At this moment, you are being stared at coldly by the huge dragon. You feel as if your soul is about to burst out, the hair on your body stands on end, and you are almost covered by an overwhelming feeling of suffocation. The oppressive feeling this huge dragon gives you is even more terrifying than the blood-robed man. It is actually a dragon in the realm of heaven and man. In front of such a terrifying existence, you are almost like a snack delivered to the door. I am afraid that even if you activate the 9 steps to heaven, again, you will not be able to hurt the other party at all. There is a celestial dragon in front of you and a blood-robed man behind you. They attack you from both sides, almost putting you in a desperate situation with no possibility of survival. For a moment, you seriously suspected that the essence of the message given to you by the big brother, Liu Shou, in the imperial capital was to let you come to the Shiwen Mountains to die. But you still clearly remember Liu Ruyue's words, go south, to the Xiwandishan mountains, you can survive. This means that this will not be a dead end at all. Besides, if they really wanted to kill you, why would they have to set up 3 levels? Wouldn't it be better to just slap you to death? Why make it so complicated? You instantly entered the supreme mode, your mind broke through the limits of mortals and entered an absolute calm. You stared straight at the huge dragon in front of you, looking into its eyes, with a life substitute blood escape talisman, upside down in your right hand. Crash. The huge dragon hidden deep in the river seems to be approaching you slowly, but it can easily stir up huge waves. This kind of strange and powerful alien race is much stronger than the human strongmen of the same level. However, contrary to your expectation, the huge dragon did not attack you. Instead, it moved its nose closer to you and sniffed you, as if confirming something. At this moment, you are in an absolutely calm state. Looking at the huge monster in front of you, you seem to have discovered some clues. At some point, a little golden fragrance emanated from your body, as if it was the smell of burning incense in the temple. This seems to be some kind of special certificate. Moreover, at this moment you finally reacted. It seems that the huge dragon in front of you is very similar to the dragon wrapped around the waist of the statue in the temple on the top of the mountain. No, it's really the same dragon, right? Who can wear a dragon on his waist? What kind of person must be so great? Wait, could it be that person? Your pupils shrink, and countless clues emerge in your mind. You instantly think of some legendary and terrifying existence in the Great Xia Empire. If it really is, that adult, it seems possible to protect him. In terms of single round strength, all the people in the Liu family combined are not as good as that adult. You know, decades ago, that person was known as Daxia's #1 war god. Just when you were in shock, you were completely unaware of the danger approaching. At some point, the blood-robed man also sneaked into the river and rushed towards you with a ferocious face. Countless blood arrows carried the breath of death. Go to hell, you be ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** The huge dragon that was so close suddenly let out an angry roar. The next moment, you were swallowed by the waves and shot out into the distance. At the last moment when he was swallowed by the waves, you seemed to see the blood-robed man being hit by the giant dragon's tail and spurting blood. This celestial dragon actually saved you at the critical moment. This time, I'm afraid it will be painful. This was your last remaining consciousness before you were knocked unconscious by the waves. Question mark. After an unknown amount of time, when you slowly woke up, you found yourself on a shore without knowing when, and in front of you was a valley that looked like a paradise on earth. The spiritual energy here is extremely rich. Although it is not as exaggerated as the mysterious secret realm in the Demon City Sea, it is still several times more than the outside world. So, I'm saved now. Safe. You covered the bursting wound on your chest, rolling your eyes and looking around. With the celestial dragon intercepting, I think the blood-robed man will not be able to catch up. You are afraid that. Don't think you can get rid of me, little b**************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************e appeared. Boom. The calm river surface suddenly erupted with waves, and an evil figure with most of its body missing rushed out. It was the man in the blood-stained robe. However, at the moment, he was in a very bad condition, with most of his left body broken, as if he had been bitten off by a ferocious beast. Seeing that the blood-robed man was still able to chase after you, you simply remained silent. I'm afraid I must have killed your entire family, otherwise, you would have chased me so desperately. When the time comes, you still dare to be so sharp-tongued. The man in the blood-stained robe had a gloomy face, a broken body, and limped as he approached you step by step, murderous intent surging in his heart. Quote, I'm not afraid to tell you. First, he was teased by the little b****************** d in front of him, causing his hand to be broken, and he was scared away. After he reacted, he was tricked and bitten by the vicious dragon. He is very angry at this moment. He was angry because he couldn't defeat that evil dragon. Could he also not defeat you, a little cultivator of the fifth realm of mountains and rivers? Little b********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* I'm not afraid to tell you that the Liu family of the imperial capital has been identified as traitors and all 9 clans will be exterminated. I will be responsible for killing all the Liu family rebels. The ancestor of the Liu family was besieged by our people and was eventually torn into pieces by 5 horses and used as food to feed the spirit pets. Your elder brother died in my hands. Before he died, he begged me not to kill you. Ha ha ha. Because of you, little b******************, so many people have been implicated and the entire imperial capital is in chaos. Listening to the blood-robed man's constantly provocative words, although you are still in the absolutely calm state of supreme mode, a storm of anger can't help but rise in your heart. Knowing the miserable state of the Liu family, you wish to tear the bastards in front of you into pieces. Even if you can't do it, you would rather die than bite off a piece of their flesh. But you have reached your limit now, and it is difficult for your body to even move. If those rebels in the Liu family hadn't hidden you, you would have died 18 years ago. The blood-robed man moved very quickly, as if he was in a hurry, and soon came in front of you. He had a blood-red knife in his hand, and pointed it at your head, slashing it down fiercely, wanting to kill you. It seems that he is afraid of something. I have passed 3 levels. Where are the people who are protecting me? You know exactly what the other party is afraid of, and you shout loudly. Question mark. Boom. Just as the blood knife was about to fall, a vortex of energy suddenly erupted from a very far distance and hit the blood-robed man fiercely, instantly sending him flying. Trample, trample, trample. A rustling sound of footsteps came from the valley behind. The person who can protect you has finally arrived. You force yourself to stand up and turn your head, trying to see the person clearly. But what came into view was a tall and mighty yellow dog with a yellow face, white mouth, white beard, and half the height of a man. Question mark quote. Young master, here comes the old slave. Question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark. Chapter 75. My name is Yang Hong, you can also call me uncle. Question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark. What would your reaction be when you see a yellow dog half the height of a man, with a yellow face and white mouth, running towards you, speaking human language and calling you, little master? Damn it. This sudden scene completely stunned you. The contact person has become a contact dog. Question mark. Also, this dog can talk. Also, little master, is he calling you? Question mark. Tread. Then you see, the big yellow dog is running on all 4s, stepping on the plum blossom prints, stirring up a strong wind of yellow sand, and it is in front of you in an instant. The next moment, a huge dog face comes in front of you, licks your confused face affectionately, and chatters like a chatterbox. My young master, ever since I smelled your scent and came to Hidden Dragon Valley, I have been rushing to find you. I have finally arrived. Do you still remember me? You once held me in your arms. That useless old Zhao, his brain has been soaked in the river water and he can't even stop a dog. He almost frightened the young master. He really deserves a beating. Don't worry, young master. You have passed the 3 tests left by the master and successfully come here. Even if the King of Heaven comes, he can't touch you. As the big yellow dog licks your face and wounds, you suddenly discover that the big hole in your chest begins to recover miraculously, and even the pain in your body begins to dissipate. Question mark. Hiss. This dog's saliva has such miraculous effects, it's like a panacea. Uncle Dog. You called out tentatively. Although I don't know the situation, it doesn't hurt to call him Uncle Ju in this situation. From the white beard of this dog, you can tell that it is quite old. It is an old dog. From what he just said, I know he has seen you since childhood. Are you a pet of an elder? Just call me old slave Ahuong, why call me Uncle Dog? The big yellow dog's eyes lit up, his face was full of excitement, and his tail was wagging wildly. Question mark. Looking at this scene, you will know that you made the right bet. He was blown away, with flesh and blood missing from his chest, revealing his bones. The extremely miserable, blood-robed man saw you two, 1 man and 1 dog, claiming to be relatives. He was terrified, but still gritted his teeth and said angrily, hole, how dare you attack me? I am. You dare to interrupt my conversation with my young master. You are courting death. The big yellow dog restrained his smile and let out a low growl. In an instant, countless yellow sands and strong winds were blown up, condensing into a scene of natural disaster. At this moment, the big yellow dog in front of you actually gives you an unfathomable feeling of terror. It is even more ferocious than the blood-robed man and the dragon in the river. Instantly, in the yellow sand storm, the screams of the blood-stained men rang out one after another. According to the agreement, the young master will be protected by the master after he enters the mountain, passes 3 levels, and arrives at the hidden Dragon Valley. Who gave you bastards the courage to set foot here? Uncle Dog growled in a domineering manner. The blood-robed man, who had been chasing you to near death, was tortured by the yellow sand and strong wind, and his flesh and blood were worn away, and soon only a skeleton was left. For the sake of your master, I will not kill you today. However, you can be spared the death penalty, but you cannot escape the punishment of living. Quote. Roll. The blood-robed man, who was tortured into a skeleton but still alive, no longer dared to shout anymore. He was wrapped in a bloodlight and prepared to escape. Boom. A dragon's tail suddenly flew out from the river and smashed fiercely on the bloodlight, like a bowling ball, sending the blood-robed man flying, letting out a painful scream. Ah, I will definitely come back. You who witnessed this scene with your own eyes, your first reaction was not shock at the terrifying fighting power of the big yellow dog, but rather surprise at the tenacious vitality of the blood-robed man. This can't be killed. My young master, if you hadn't told me to spare his life, I would have killed him to avenge you. The big yellow dog lowered his head and explained a few words in your ear. Thank you, Uncle Dog. You feel a little touched, knowing that the big yellow dog is just taking advantage of the situation to vent your anger. Come on, young master, follow me for a walk. The big yellow dog led the way, walked into the valley, and motioned for you to follow. Quote. Good. Your injuries have mostly recovered, and seeing the blood-robed man being beaten and driven away, the heavy stone in your heart is also removed, and you feel relieved. You know that the big yellow dog is ready to take you to find the owner it mentioned, who is also the real person who can protect you. At this moment, although you have some guesses in your mind, you are still not completely sure, so you try to find out the identity of the owner from the big yellow dog. You'll know when you get there, little master. The big yellow dog smiled mysteriously and didn't answer, leaving the question in suspense. In this regard, you also know that this big yellow dog is not as honest as you imagined. But when you stepped into the valley, you were stunned for a moment. What came into view was a huge city with a fierce atmosphere. There is actually a city hidden in the Shiwanda Mountains. Inside the city, there are densely packed human figures, both men and women, and children chasing and playing, making it look like a paradise. You are sharp-eyed and you find that most of these people have a fierce aura. Many of them are missing arms and legs, and have scars all over their bodies, giving you an inexplicable sense of oppression. Some people's clothes still have the emblem of the Great Xia Empire army. These people are veterans of the Great Xia Empire's army, specializing in fighting against strange alien races. They are the elite among the elite. You are shocked. The entire city hides at least hundreds of thousands of elite soldiers of the Great Xia Empire. What does this mean? This is enough to form the basis for rebellion. This is almost the treatment of a local vassal king. What shocked you even more was that these people who seemed to be the elite of the army seemed to be extremely respectful to you. Wherever you walked, they silently gave way to you. At this moment, you become more certain about a certain guess in your mind. Quote. Master, I have brought the little master here. Soon, under the guidance of Uncle Dog, you came to the tallest building in the city, entered it, and soon met the person who could protect you. He was a middle-aged man with white hair, of vicissitudes of life, handsome and heroic, giving you a sense of oppression from a superior. When you see the middle-aged man, your head buzzes as if it has been hit hard, and you fall into a kind of dead silence. Because the feeling this middle-aged man gives you is almost exactly the same as the statue in the temple before. What is even more shocking and surprising is that when the middle-aged man looks at you, the blood in your body actually starts to boil, and you can't help but feel a desire to get close to him. Even the Supreme Emperor bone in the body actually reacted and trembled slightly, as if the other party had something similar to the Supreme Emperor bone. You can't help but ask. The handsome and heroic middle-aged man looked at you for a long time before he slowly said, My name is Yang Hong, you can also call me uncle. Chapter 76, The Confusing Truth and the Weird Uncle Who is the God of War. Question mark. Yang Hong. Your pupils shrink and you secretly say, it is indeed him. You are not unfamiliar with this name, you may even be very familiar with it. So much so that, for the entire Daxia people, the name, Yang Hong, is a household name. Great Xia God of War. Question mark. Empire's military spirit. Undefeated heroic spirit. Question mark. Question mark. These are the titles of Yang Hong in Daxia. In the eyes of countless people, this person is almost a living legend. He joined the army as a civilian, showed his talent, and in just a few years, he reached the top and became the leader of the Great Xia army. He once single-handedly fought against 18 strange aliens in the heavenly realm in the territory of the Empire, killing them with one punch and one sword, and earned the name of being invincible. He led the elite troops of Daxia to guard the Empire, so that foreign enemies dared not invade and Daxia's enemies were terrified. Decades ago, that was the era of Yang Hong. With his invincible talent, he suppressed the proud people of the noble families and made them unable to raise their heads. He promoted talented people in the Great Xia Empire without regard to their backgrounds, ignored the unspoken rules of the aristocratic families, and employed common people from humble backgrounds. His military discipline is strict. Anyone who falls into his hands will die, even if they are from aristocratic families. There was a celestial family that was dissatisfied with the murder of their son and thought their interests were damaged, so they wanted to take action against him. However, Yang Hong came and exterminated the entire clan and killed them all. The ancestor of heaven and man had his head twisted off and hung on a military flag to show the world. Afterwards, the Great Xia Emperor only reprimanded him and made him drink 3 cups of wine as punishment. Because, at that time, he was the sharpest sword of the Great Xia Empire. The noble families dared not speak out against him, fearing him like a tiger, while the common people regarded him as an idol of faith, longing to become his. At that time, Yang Hong was almost hailed as the #1 person in the empire, second only to the Emperor of Daxia. But just a few decades ago, this living legend suddenly disappeared without a trace, as if he was dead. After that, people who missed this Great Xia God of War made a statue of him, hoping to seek his protection. Before, when you were at the Liu family in the imperial capital, you also saw the statue of Yang Hong. But who could have thought that this Great Xia God of War had actually been hiding in the 10,000 mountains? Question mark. Besides, he is your uncle. No wonder my elder brother, Liu Shou, said that someone can protect me if I go south, and no wonder Liu Ruyue said that I can survive if I go south. Who would have thought that there was such a living legend of the empire hidden in the south? Besides, he is my uncle. Liu Gan's eyes were filled with shock as he stared towards the south and couldn't help but clench his fists. If it is just as Yang Hong said in the villain simulator, then, his biological mother is the sister of Yang Hong, the Great Xia God of War. After the process of elimination, it was found that the blood of the royal family of Daxia in his body came from his father's genes. At the same time, the culprit of all this seemed to point to his biological father whom he had never met. The most sinful, evil, and craziest bloodline in the empire, the Great Xia God of War who suddenly retired. I have been hunted down by all parties. Now let me make a bold prediction. My mysterious biological father, who was born in the royal family of Daxia, married Yang Hong's sister, and then took control of the military power. He then rebelled and almost split Daxia. But in the end, it still failed. Liu Gan instantly entered supreme mode, and began brainstorming and analyzing. But there are still some doubts, that is, why the names of his father and mother are unknown. If such a shocking event had really happened that year, it would have been recorded. Why is there no record of it at all? It was as if this history had been erased by an invisible hand. That's right, how could a scandal like this be recorded? I'm afraid only the old people of that time would know something about it. So, my adopted father must have died, and in the process, killed my mother whom I had never met. At that time, the Liu family also belonged to my father's sphere of influence. They hid me when I was still an infant and adopted me. Until recently, my identity was exposed and I was hunted down. My identity is not the son of the emperor, but the grandson. Does this seem to be the so-called truth? Lu Gan frowned slightly, feeling like something was wrong. If this is true, how is Yang Hong still alive? According to what the ghost doctor said before, Da Sha was almost destroyed at that time, which shows the horror of that battle. I'm afraid that the Great Xia Emperor is almost dead. This is fatal behavior. The Great Xia Emperor would not be merciful. Subscribe to Chinese novel Audio Wave. His father led his eldest brother-in-law to rebel, and now his father is dead. How come his uncle Yang Hong is still alive? The Great Xia Emperor could kill even his own son, but he didn't dare to kill Yang Hong. Moreover, how did the Liu family protect him for so long under such pressure? If the Great Xia Emperor really had this intention, his so-called grandson would not be able to survive. Why bother to make calculations and ask people to take action? The other party could easily send dozens of celestial beings, or even take action personally. Who can stop a true land immortal from taking action? More importantly, Liu Ruyue and the forces behind him were so bold that they dared to risk offending the Great Xia Emperor, a true immortal on earth, and come to him to learn from him. Moreover, why did Liu Ruyue say that Yang Hong could protect him and keep him alive? Something is wrong, absolutely wrong. Things don't seem as simple as I thought. What happened back then? Liu Gan, who had just uncovered a layer of hazy fog, now found himself trapped in a new fog. You seem to be in a trance and confused, as if you were stunned by the sudden situation, as if what happened that year was an unsolvable mystery. You looked at your uncle in front of you and wanted to ask about your parents. Uncle, can you tell me about my father and mother? Little kid, don't know so much. That's not something you can participate in. Come to your uncle and he will keep you safe for the rest of your life. Yang Hong lowered his eyes slightly and avoided the question, obviously not wanting to talk about it. After saying this, before you can continue speaking, he orders you to leave. Go down. If you want anything here, you can tell your dog uncle and he will prepare it for you. What you need to do now is to survive. Surviving is better than anything else. Quote. This is my promise to her. Chapter 77, Advancement. 6th Level Talisman Master. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Since ancient times, the sky is big, the earth is big, and uncle is the biggest. Under normal circumstances, as your uncle, there is nothing wrong with Yang Hong's protective attitude towards you. When both your parents are gone, you can say that he is your only relative at present. But he doesn't seem to want you to know what happened back then, not even a single thing about his parents. Now that you are safe, why are you unwilling to reveal the truth to you? Could it be that there is another hidden story behind what happened back then? And the other party seems to always emphasize, just survive, just survive. This series of strange things made you full of doubts. You wanted to ask again, but the uncle dog next to you bit your trouser leg and dragged you outside. Okay, little master, the master is tired and needs to rest. Let's go first and don't disturb him. I'll take you to find a place to rest. You were being dragged by the big yellow dog by your trouser legs, and you had no choice but to follow him outside. However, you couldn't help but look back frequently to look at your uncle Yang Hong. After the big yellow dog reminded you, you realized that your uncle's face seemed a little pale, without much blood color, his eyes were still bloodshot, and he seemed a little tired. Cough, cough, cough. Yang Hong couldn't help coughing, but you, with your sharp eyes, noticed that the white towel in his hand seemed to have a hint of blood. Hiss. What on earth could have caused this former Great Xia's one god of war to be so exhausted and even injured? You know, to be hailed as the #1 person in the Great Xia Empire, Yang Hong's strength is very likely to have reached the 9th level of heavenly being. It can be said that he is truly the #1 person under the true immortals on earth. You had countless doubts in your heart, and then you were dragged out of the city lord's mansion by the big yellow dog. Uncle dog, is my uncle injured? He seems to be coughing up blood. Fortunately, I am proficient in some magic water techniques. You tentatively want to find out the situation from the big yellow dog. You can see that the identity of this dog uncle of mine is not ordinary. I am afraid he is second only to one person here in above 10,000 people. Ah, master is injured. Really? The big yellow dog tilted his head, looking confused. You paused slightly, then turned back to take another look, only to find that your uncle was still sitting on the throne, motionless, with a ruddy face and a normal look, as if the paleness and coughing up blood just now were all your hallucinations. An inexplicable sense of horror suddenly came over me, and I felt like something was inexplicably wrong. But you have been dragged out. Next, no matter how you try to get words out of the dog, you will gain nothing. Every time, it will pretend to be stupid and change the subject. What a cunning big yellow dog. You know, dogs like this shit yellow dog are the most cunning. You realized that the big yellow dog might also know something, but was hiding it and was unwilling to tell you. The big yellow dog takes you for a stroll in the city, familiarizing you with the surroundings. Wherever you go, you are greeted with attention, and everyone shows respect to you. You tried to communicate with them, but got no response, only smiles and shakes of the head. The only thing you know is that this place is called the Land of Hidden Dragons. These scenes make your heart tighten, and you always feel an inexplicable sense of foreboding. But now that you are here, you cannot escape it. You can only take one step at a time and see how it goes. You were arranged to stay in a large courtyard next to the city lord's mansion, close to your uncle Yang Hong. With this great Xia god of war by your side, your sense of security instantly exploded. Seeing that you can't get any information out of it, you simply stop pursuing it and focus on cultivation. Since your uncle said that if you need anything, just tell Guzi, then you naturally won't be polite either. You ask Big Yellow Dog directly for the talisman manuals of level 5 and above, as well as new cultivation methods, martial arts, and Taoist techniques. You have not found a high-level talisman, and are stuck at the threshold of a 5th-level talisman master. You mainly practice the ancient dragon elephant scripture, and you are a little weak in the face of powerful enemies. Talisman skills. The master has killed some talisman masters before, so he has quite a few inheritances in this area. As for skills, he also has some, which he obtained from killing people before. The big yellow dog shook his head and took you directly to the secret warehouse in the city, letting you choose. My young master, these are all my savings over the years. Take whatever you want. Gurgle. You swallowed and looked at the many secret realms of martial arts in front of you, feeling stunned. Although you already knew your uncle was extraordinary, you never thought he could be so generous. Illustration of the 8th level talisman. Blood Demon Array Solution. Qingmu Chengsheng Ju. Immortal Mysterious Skill. Grim Revelations. Almost all of the techniques in front of you are aimed at the gods. Their power is much stronger than the ancient Dragon Elephant Sutra that you mainly practice. You can imagine how powerful the masters of those techniques were when they were alive. But they all died at the hands of your uncle in the end, and the secret realms of their skills became treasures here. Finally, you took away an 8th level talisman diagram, the Qingmu Chengsheng Gong, that can increase lifespan, a defensive celestial magic weapon, Xuanming's shield, and many cultivation resources. The Qingmu Chengsheng Gong can increase one's lifespan much more than the strong men of the same level when breaking through a great realm, which can be used to assist the consumption of the 9 steps to the sky. You returned to the courtyard and began to practice. You found that after taking the practice pill, your practice speed could be accelerated, and the speed of returning the Heaven and Earth loan could be advanced. Before the Heaven and Earth loan is paid off, you do not plan to practice the Qingmu Chengsheng Gong, but instead plan to follow the path of talismans first. In the blink of an eye, half a year has passed. Compared to previous simulations, which required caution and step-by-step planning, you can practice without worries in Hidden Dragon City, and have countless resources and practice techniques. During this period, you have tried to explore the surroundings, but the big yellow dog always appears strangely, like a ghost, following behind you, as if it is always staring at you. In this case, if you give up and continue to explore the surroundings. In the past 6 months, your cultivation has not improved at all, but the 2-year, Heaven and Earth loan, on you only has 1 year left, and the repayment speed has doubled. At the same time, you comprehended many 5th order talismans to make up for the deficiency of only having the Fire Dragon talisman, and also began to try to draw the 6th order talisman. You have successfully drawn the 6th level talisman, Thunder and Lightning Driven Talisman. You have successfully become a 6th ranked talisman master. Chapter 78. You fell into a coma. A 6th ranked talisman master is comparable to a 6th level transcendent. If prepared in advance, he can overpower several masters of the same level and be invincible at the same level. With the blessing of the purple talent, Talisman Dao Seed, my attainments in talismans are still far ahead compared to my cultivation. You have broken through to the 6th level of Talisman Master, and you are so excited that you can't help but continue to indulge in the ocean of knowledge of talismans, and continue to comprehend. But at this moment, an inexplicable sense of horror suddenly surged into your heart, instantly waking you up from the state of enlightenment. You suddenly realize that, without knowing when, there is a shadow behind you in the room. Excellent mental power is the foundation for becoming a talisman master. You have passed the test. A familiar voice suddenly appeared. The moment you heard the voice, your tense nerves relaxed instantly. You turned around and saw your uncle Yang Hong, whom you hadn't seen for a long time. He stood behind you, looking at you calmly, with his hands behind his back, and made a casual comment. "You are very good." Quote. "Uncle," you shouted a little awkwardly. It has been a long time since you last saw this uncle who was both familiar and unfamiliar to you. In the past 6 months, the other party has never come to see him and has been staying in the city lord's mansion. During that time, you wanted to meet him again, but the big yellow dog stopped you, saying that his master was in a critical period of cultivation. But every night, there are wild beast-like roars in the city lord's mansion. Perhaps because he noticed your restraint, Yang Hong's expression became somewhat relaxed, and his eyes suddenly paused on your chest. "Last time we met, I didn't notice you, but you seemed to be in a special state, and the spiritual energy you cultivated was dissipating and returning to heaven and earth. It is obvious that this great Xia god of war noticed something strange about you at first sight. You didn't expect your uncle to be so sharp-eyed." After hesitating for a moment, you told him about the 9 steps to heaven. You can clearly see that when this extremely mysterious uncle heard about the effective 9 steps to heaven, he seemed to be moved for a moment, with a gleam in his eyes, but when he heard that it could not be passed on to others, he felt a little disappointed. But soon, he recovered as before. This technique can be said to be able to seize the fortune of heaven and earth, and it has some meaning in line with Taoism. I will try to see if I can help you. An extremely pure spiritual energy suddenly surges into your body. You begin to realize that the TND die is being repaid at a terrifying speed. Digging. You seem to have realized the true use of 9 steps to heaven. You can actually play it this way. As long as there is a strong person to pass on spiritual energy to you, the side effects can be offset in advance. Soon, you will find that the loan from heaven and earth has been completely repaid, and you can continue to practice and improve your cultivation. The Qingmu Changsheng Gong you requested before was to assist the 9 steps to heaven, right? Don't practice that technique anymore. Uncle has a better one. Yang Hong took out an ancient secret book from the space ring and handed it to you. You took it and looked at it, and what caught your eye were 5 large characters, the Green Emperor's Sutra of Immortality. This is actually a longevity technique that can lead one directly to the 9th level of the land true immortal. This item was obtained by my uncle by chance. It is said to have some connection with the ancient Green Emperor. The effect is extremely powerful. Every time you break through, you can increase your lifespan several times that of the same level. However, it is extremely difficult to practice. Listening to your uncle's explanation, you can't help but take a deep breath. Increasing your lifespan several times that of your peers, isn't this a perfect match for the 9 steps to heaven? Once you start practicing, you can enhance the durability of 9 steps to heaven. As long as the endurance is improved, what else do you have to be afraid of? Thank you, uncle. You thanked him sincerely. Being able to give you such a mysterious skill, Yang Hong obviously regards you as his own child. You're welcome. I'm your uncle. Practice well and stay alive. That's better than anything else. Yang Hong spoke meaningfully, looking at you with a complicated look. However, at this moment, you are immersed in it and don't notice anything unusual. Soon, Uncle Yang Hong left. Without the heaven and earth loan, you began to further practice. 1 month later, the 8th step of the 9 steps to heaven, the heavenly talisman, was successfully condensed. Question mark. 2 months later, you began to practice the Green Emperor's longevity scripture, but this scripture that leads directly to the land immortals is too mysterious, and your progress is extremely slow. The Supreme Emperor Bone begins to take effect. Question mark. 3 months later, you successfully entered the door and practiced the first level of Qingdi Changsheng Sutra, increasing your lifespan by 30 years. Question mark. 5 months later, you are gifted and break through the 3rd level of the Qingdi Changsheng Sutra, increasing your lifespan by 100 years. Question mark. 1 year later, you have cultivated the Green Emperor's Longevity Sutra to the peak of the 5th level, and your lifespan has reached 1,000 years, almost twice that of the strong men of the same level. Question mark. You have broken through to the peak of the mountain and river realm. You have reached the peak of the mountain and river realm so quickly. You can prepare to break through to the transcendent realm. The gains from this villain simulation are really great: a 6th level talisman master, a celestial talisman, the Green Emperor's Longevity Sutra, the peak of the mountain and river realm. This looks good, but something feels wrong. Liu Gan looked at himself in the villain simulator with a frown on his face. He was not as excited as he had imagined and always felt that something was wrong. He still remembered the strangeness of his elder brother, Liu Shou, and Liu Ruyue's unusual words. Moreover, Uncle Yang Hong is also a bit weird. However, this time the simulator's self seemed to have let down its guard. The next villain simulation also began to appear in a strange direction. For the first time, you felt the joy of cultivation. No danger, no pursuers, no persecution, only safe cultivation. All the resources you need are ready to be delivered to you, so you can do your best to reach a higher peak. Under this situation, I can stay here forever. After I have perfected my magical power and become a true immortal on Earth, I can come out and sweep the world, invincible. When the time comes, the mastermind behind the scenes and those who are chasing me will all die. At this moment, you are full of confidence, your vigilance is relaxed, and you have completely forgotten some of the previous things and reminders. Next, I have to break through the 6th level of transcendence. I need to ask my uncle for some things. What's going on? Why? I feel a little dizzy. As you were about to go out, you suddenly smelled a strange aroma, and immediately felt dizzy and fell to the ground. You fell into a coma. Chapter 79. Uncle, do you want to dig my bones too? Sure enough, something happened. Liu Gan's face turned ugly as he stared at what happened next in the villain simulator. The one who can take action in Hidden Dragon City is probably not. Snap. Question mark. The door is opened. Someone walked in. You were unconscious and were taken away by someone and put on a carriage. I don't know where you were taken. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Question mark. No words along the way. In a trance, a domineering force surges out from your spine, instantly dispersing the smoke in your body, and your dormant mind gradually begins to wake up. As you gradually regain consciousness, you suddenly feel an inexplicable chill. The Supreme Emperor Bone in your body seems to be issuing a warning, asking you to save yourself. Something happened. I was arrested. There is indeed something wrong with Yang Hong. What's going on? I was always on guard before, why did I suddenly let my guard down recently? Could it be that I was tricked by someone? You are filled with anger and shock. The only person who can attack you in Yinlong City is your uncle Yang Hong, the great Xia god of war. Moreover, at this moment, you can also vaguely sense 2 familiar auras in the carriage. A familiar smell is the big yellow dog, and an even more familiar smell is my uncle Yang Hong. You start to recall the strangeness from before, and realize that you seem to have subconsciously overlooked certain things during this period of time. You trust Yang Hong so much that you even told him the 9 steps to heaven. This is not in line with your original personality. Although you are still unable to move, you can vaguely hear some intermittent conversations in the carriage. Master, do you really have to do this? The little master is your only relative in this world. He has half of the Yang family's blood in his body. Master, perhaps we can still think of a way. Although you are injured and no longer have the divine power you once had, we still have other ways. Master, you were the great Xia god of war back then. You must dig out the young masters. It's a big yellow dog. It's actually begging for you. However, facing the big yellow dog's plea, Yang Hong remained silent and said nothing. Listening to the intermittent conversation, you suddenly felt a chill. You never expected that your uncle Yang Hong was also coveting your Supreme Emperor bone. Is it because I am injured and want to take your Supreme Emperor bone to recover from the injury? No wonder you always heard the howling of wild beasts coming from the city lord's mansion in the middle of the night before. No wonder, ever since you came here, for almost 2 years, whenever you made any move, you would be watched for fear that you would run away. Sure enough, the so-called going south was a complete trap. Even his own uncle was thinking about him. On the contrary, the cunning big yellow dog has good intentions towards you and has been trying to plead for you. Perhaps knowing that pleading is useless, the big yellow dog also became depressed. He came to you who was unconscious and licked your face. I'm sorry, little master, Uncle Dog can't help you. The strange fragrance just now was emitted by it. Yang Hong, who was at the innermost part, was covered by shadows, and his face and expression could not be seen clearly. He did not utter a word from beginning to end. This man and dog, a master and a servant, seem to be unaware that you have been warned by the Supreme Emperor Bone, causing your consciousness to awaken and begin to regain your sanity. Soon, the carriage stopped in a small courtyard. Yang Hong took the lead and got out of the car. The big yellow dog stood up and became huge. He carried you out of the car and entered the courtyard. Inside the courtyard, there is a wooden bed and a butcher figure with half of his face missing, emitting a strong murderous aura. The butcher was holding a very extraordinary, blood-stained, butcher knife, in his hand that exuded an icy chill. Greetings to the true lord. The butcher stood respectfully aside, seemingly waiting for the prey to be served. You were put on the wooden bed. Seeing this scene, your heart is completely chilled. At this moment, you have already had a rough idea of what is going to happen next, and have begun to enter the supreme mode, trying your best to wake up completely. Yang Hong stood expressionlessly beside the bed, looking at you calmly as you slept. The big yellow dog's face twisted slightly, and he wanted to beg for mercy, but was ruthlessly driven away by Yang Hong. Get out. The big yellow dog's tail drooped instantly, and he walked outside with a depressed look and head down. Let's get started. Hearing Yang Hong's order, the butcher, standing aside nodded, holding the butcher knife in hand, and was about to step forward, but suddenly stopped, with a look of astonishment on his face. Snap. You, who should have been unconscious, opened your eyes without knowing when, and grabbed Yang Hong's hand, staring at him with disbelief, and asked a soul-searching question, Uncle, do you want to dig out my bones too? This sudden scene stunned everyone present. No one would have thought that you, a minor cultivator in the mountain and river realm, could actually break free from the soul-bewitching smoke, a special method used against celestial beings. Your uncle Yang Hong, whose hand you held, remained calm and didn't seem to be moved at all. But you, holding his arm, can sense that he seems to tremble for a moment. Obviously, this great Xia god of war is not as calm as imagined. Swish. While everyone was in shock, you quietly activated the life substitution blood escape talisman that was close to your body, and were instantly enveloped in blood light, trying to escape. This is your only trump card at the moment. I just hope that Yang Hong doesn't have a restraining seal in his hand. Snap. The next moment, in your dull gaze, an arm tore through space, ignoring the blood, and instantly crushed the life substitute blood escape talisman. The person who made the move was none other than your uncle Yang Hong. This former great Xia god of war used only his physical body to destroy all your survival opportunities with just a slight move. Fancy tricks. Boom. You were knocked down from nowhere and fell on the wooden bed. You instantly lost all 5 senses and your mind went blank. Only Yang Hong's calm voice rang in his ears, dig it up. Tear. The flesh and blood on the back was torn apart by the butcher knife, severing the most critical connection. A sharp pain came from deep within my soul. You were dug out alive and the Supreme Emperor bone in your body. Chapter 80. Blood Demon greets the true lord. the sixth prince asked me to greet you. You were dug out alive in the Supreme Emperor bone, in your body. It was a brilliant spine emitting a dark golden glow, giving off a noble aura of the great Tao. This is the first time you see your own Supreme Emperor bone. I don't know why, but at this moment, when you see him, you have an inexplicably strange feeling, as if something is missing. But this feeling is only fleeting. When he is completely stripped from your body, you feel as if you have lost the most important thing. You feel lost and empty. You watched helplessly as your Supreme Emperor bone was handed to Yang Hong by the butcher. But Yang Hong did not take it. He just stood there silently without even looking at it. This seems to be somewhat beyond your expectations. Because, according to your calculations, Yang Hong wants to take your Supreme Emperor bone to heal his wounds and restore him to his peak state. But the appearance of the next uninvited guest once again stirs up a storm in your heart. At some point, the blood-robed man, who had been chasing you suddenly appeared in the yard and bowed respectfully to your uncle Yang Hong. The blood demon greets you, the sixth prince asked me to greet you. Boom. Your pupils shrink, and you suddenly feel a bone-chilling chill rising into your heart. They are actually in the same group. Your uncle Yang Hong is actually in cahoots with the mastermind behind the persecution of you. Everything that happened before was just an act, just to force you to come to the Shiwen Mountains, to the land of hidden dragons. And could it be that the sixth prince, mentioned by the blood demon, is the true identity of the mastermind behind the scenes? Before, the one who pretended to be Big Brother Liu Shou and communicated with you as the sixth prince. Etc. Wrong. You suddenly realize that if this is true, when you came to the land of hidden dragons, they could have captured you and dug out your bones. Why would they let you live for another year or two? So, it seems that Yang Hong and the sixth prince are not in the same group. It seems that this uncle really wants to protect you. And what happened next also confirmed your guess. Faced with the blood demon's respect, Yang Hong seemed to have never heard of it. As if he didn't hear it, he just waved his hand, and the butcher next to him held the Supreme Emperor bone in front of the blood demon. This scene is like sending away a begging dog. Being ignored like this, a trace of embarrassment and resentment appeared on the face of the blood demon. He didn't know how long it had been since he became a celestial being and was treated like this. But when she thought of the terrifying man in front of her, she suppressed her anger and reminded him in a slightly sarcastic tone, "Master, in addition to this Supreme Emperor bone, there seems to be one more thing missing from this transaction." The sixth prince said that in order to ensure that the Supreme Emperor bone will not be reborn, it is necessary to destroy Lu Gan's Dantian and his cultivation. If it is inconvenient for you, Master, to do it, I can do it for you. It is obvious that the blood demon still remembers your previous teasing and is unwilling to let you go. He wants to destroy you with his own hands. Are you done? Yang Hong asked calmly. Boom. Your Dantian was shattered by Yang Hong's palm, and your peak cultivation quickly dissipated like smoke. Your face turned pale, and all your energy and spirit were gone in an instant, as if you had aged countless years, and were dying. Seeing you in such a miserable state, the blood demon felt a little disappointed because he didn't get what he wanted, but he laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, little b******************, d, this is your Yang Hong frowned, raised his eyes slightly, and a golden light suddenly burst out. In your astonished eyes, the laughing blood demon suddenly let out a shrill scream. His soul and Dantian were severely damaged, and his heavenly cultivation quickly disintegrated. Ah, how dare you destroy my Dantian? The blood demon howled miserably, and fell to his knees and rolled on the ground like a mangy dog. With just one glance, he crippled the blood demon, a powerful warrior who was above the 5th level of heavenly man. It seems that the strength of your uncle Yang Hong is far beyond your imagination. Isn't he injured? How can he still be so powerful? But in this case, is there an internal conflict? Didn't Uncle Yang Hong attack you because he was afraid of the sixth prince? Why did he dare to destroy the blood demon right away? Get out, or die. Yang Hong's voice was calm but contained murderous intent. The blood demon's face turned pale, his soul was torn apart, and he quickly took the Supreme Emperor bone, that was shining with golden light, and fled like a stray dog. Having lost the Supreme Emperor bone, and all your cultivation, you feel endless fatigue, and become confused and begin to fall into a deep sleep. In the last moment of your sleep, you seem to hear a very faint murmur. Survival is better than anything else. So, this is all a deal. Use my Supreme Emperor bone and my cultivation to exchange for no more pursuit and safety. That's right. There's no need to continue chasing after a useless person who is no longer a threat. No wonder Liu Ruyue said I can live. It turns out this is the way to live. No wonder she had such a weird expression at the time, she obviously knew about the deal a long time ago. Liu Gan closed his eyes and quickly digested the series of twists and turns and explosive content in this villain simulation. First of all, it is certain that his uncle Yang Hong has no ill will towards him and really wants to protect him. The other party also had no interest in his Supreme Emperor bone from beginning to end. But he seemed to be injured, or something went wrong, and he no longer had the strength he had at his peak, so he chose to make a deal with the mastermind behind the scenes. But if that was true, why did Yang Hong take action and easily destroy the blood demon? Aren't you afraid of angering the mastermind behind the scenes and tearing up the previous deal? You know, a strong man above the 5th level of heavenly man is not an easy sell. Is it because of the word, little b******************** d, that the blood demon said? Liu Gan vaguely felt that it was this sentence that angered Yang Hong. It seems that this uncle attaches great importance to family affection. Moreover, even if the injured one was not Yang Hong in his prime, he could destroy the blood demon with one glance. How terrifying was he in his prime? In addition, there is also the 6th prince, Chen Tai, who is suspected to be the mastermind behind the scenes. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.